Okay.
Okay, so quick update. Look at that, perfect time.
I don't see it.
Oh, hold on.
What do you want me to put?
The email, you could just open it and then we'll go through it from there.
Okay.
Okay, so quick update, we've ordered the tablecloth. Io has been so amazing to me the last few days, putting up with all my orders. The tablecloth was ordered, the name tags were ordered. Magali, I did not order yours. Because I didn't order Edwin since he wasn't sworn in yet, and I didn't know that you already got sworn in, so I only ordered it for the people who were like active as a.
Okay, I think Esther mentioned it to you that I was gonna be sworn up.
Right, but
sworn in.
when the order was placed, I wasn't aware that that had already happened. But I'm gonna call the company.
Meeting last week.
Okay, well, I apologize. It was just, we will order it. The information's there. I'm just not sure that we will have it prior to the, I'll call it in later, once we
Okay.
leave here, and then, you know, depending on what they say, I'll use the same credit card.
Yeah. I think it's irrelevant of what Edwin is. If she's been sworn and she's been appointed, she should have a card as noted at the meeting. So if Edwin is still not sworn in, I would appreciate if her card is ordered because I did mention it.
Oh,
I don't want her
I-
to think that I ignored her.
Absolutely, I will order it. It was
Thank you.
more of my mishap than anything else. I had understood last meeting that neither one of them have sworn in, but again, like I said, it's my mistake. I'll call the company as soon as I leave here. And if it can be ready in time, it'll be here. It wasn't, was it on the list of
I'm looking
members
at it
that
now.
you sent
It's
me?
not.
Yeah, cause I also went by, for spelling, I went by the list of members that the town has on the spreadsheet that IO manages, and you weren't on there either, so,
I don't think the town clerk's has had a chance to update it. That's why.
okay,
So that's, it probably happened right before that.
okay, so as much as, again, I'm taking responsibility of ensuring that I order it, it was also not, you know, given to me as part of the other stuff. So, Io, do you mind going back to the email really quick? So if you just scroll down, you're gonna see the proof of what the tablecloth will look like. It's okay, I think that's good, this is just a proof of what the tablecloth will look like. We should be receiving it by Tuesday or Wednesday. And the name tags, they have not provided proofs for, so I can't show you an example of that yet. And, the video is up on the other screen. Okay. Yeah. If we share it to all BAB members, you can share wherever you want. Social media, expect for Instagram, Facebook. You could use it as a story, you could use it as a reel, whatever you want. Yeah, you could barely hear it because the speakers are so low, but like it syncs to the music, so it goes with it, yeah. I'll provide Io with a download link. And then she'll share it with everybody, and that link, you'll be able to access it and download the video and post it, you know, on your own channels, wherever you want. You could email it, I mean, the options are infinite. And then go back to the email, I just wanna make sure I didn't miss it.
The name.
Well, the name tags we talked about, that I don't have proofs yet, but they were ordered.
Okay.
Basically, the way it looks is it has the blasting
Help you?
logo at the top.
Yeah.
No, it's not gonna
No,
be
I know.
anything like the one that you provided.
Okay, I don't.
It's gonna be totally different because in order for the logo to come out in color with the escalation crack in the background, the best way to like render it was like in a printed way, not in an engraved way.
Like this.
So it's not gonna be engraved, it's gonna be actually printed onto the material.
I got you.
Yeah, and it's basically just the logo at the top and then underneath it has each person's name. Very simple. But I still don't have the proofs, so I can't show you that. The retractable banner is this. I printed it for everyone so you could see it. The QR code goes to the town's page. And that's it for my updates.
So that means Magali didn't get a name tag either?
I only order name tags for the people on the list
On the roster.
on the roster.
And her name hasn't been updated yet. That's not to say she hasn't been sworn in, it hasn't been updated yet, and that's exactly, so that's what Francesca used to print, so it wasn't really on her, which is, it hasn't been updated yet.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
You swear? You swear?
Pinky's fine.
Well, there are some who weren't sworn in and actually voted. So,
Oh, and on the last topic for money, since I've been the one who spent the money. The tablecloth was about 230. The name tags were about 230. So we have 2 something left over, and that 2 something was going to be used for the retractable banner that you guys see here and the additional name tag that was missed in the original order.
The tablecloth?
Yeah, it was already, it was 230.
That was a good day.
That was it.
Mm-hmm. So if everyone's okay, I just wanted to show everyone the retractable banner. If you have any feedback.
so that ends your presentation?
Yes.
Rudy, it's up to you, the program.
Want to see, do we call to order and everything else? We have,
Everything is done. If you have
roll call.
anything to add for public comments, I will add them.
my public calls. My public comments, my meeting was 3 huge blasts today. 10:30, 12, and 1:40. It was ridiculous. I had calls from everywhere. I had 10 calls.
Wow.
My neighbors called. People from everywhere now are calling because they're all getting my flyers wherever I go now. Because everywhere I go, I spread flyers everywhere, Publix, Serrano's, everywhere. Especially that Serrano's over there in 186, I bombarded them with everything there. Everybody's calling now, oh, so you're in charge of, yes.
The
People are calling,
Vicky Bakery that's there.
Mickey Bakery's there, I think it's been destroyed there.
I don't know, have you put it there? There's like a
Yes,
table. where
yes,
you-
a table.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, the table there, right on top of the little table. And, yeah, so it's like 3 huge blasts of it. 10:30, 12 o'clock and 1:40.
I was one that gave us.
Yeah, I know, no, sometimes I'm not available, sometimes I'm not around.
Any update to the program?
And any other updates, I'll just go around my alley, anything else? We don't update, 1 minute, we don't have to.
We're just waiting for you.
Oh, okay,
We're up to this part.
in the old business,
We're here.
right, we're in the old business. Well, for me, I think we have everything else, I think this was the finally that we have,
So that's the one we'll
yeah,
put in there.
that's the one we'll put
Okay.
in there.
If I'm
on the
connected?
agenda.
It's on the,
No,
You need something?
Can you,
Oh, is the program is okay? Because we're still doing something else.
okay, Miguel, did you have anything else?
well, it's part of the program of what we're.
But there's no changes to what you submitted.
No
Okay,
changes.
thank you.
Oh, 2 now, that's it. That's it. Ryan Moreno is gonna be.
Yeah, I got that.
Everything's there, everything's set up.
well, I think
I haven't heard back from
pending
anybody.
item is still the presentation, Rudy. I haven't heard from anyone.
You have
of,
access to
like,
that?
Of the presentation.
Right, like if
Yeah.
you want something.
I
or-
don't,
well, no.
but I don't know about Steve Herzberg. I don't know.
Slideshow from here.
Okay,
I don't know. Oh, I just call him and let him know.
Let me just
okay.
share the screen on Zoom, so.
It's your presentation, right? Yeah.
That's the- So, I try to be as brief as possible. Really opening the floor, if questions were to come up or whatnot. Um. It is a kind of a backstory of how everything has come to be, that most of you are aware of it. I know you're not. So hopefully this brings everybody to the table on the same page. This transitions in, gives a little visual. IMX Classified Board 2025 workshop. And the early stages. Just so again, so we're on the same page, how things came to be was my experience. What this has become, the evolution has been my personal experience of what I presented to you guys. So on the right is actually my own house, and I began witnessing cracks happening in the front porch, very odd. And my neighbor's house, literally next door, his porch is sinking. I thought very odd. I noticed that the columns were out of plumb. You can see it's a 2-foot level, and it's out of plumb by half an inch by 2 feet. So a 10-foot column, this thing was out of plumb for 1.25 inches. It was gonna fall. I already had referred to 2 structural engineers looking at this. He says, your front porch is gonna fall. It can't lean that far out. So this is the interior of my living room in front of the house. And one day we came back from a weekend out to find the front wall full of mold out of the blue. I opened this wall up and it was full of mold on the interior. And what's happening, I have cathedral ceilings and water was intruding into the roof, running down the angled ceiling, the slope ceiling, and coming down the interior side of the exterior wall. And that was the mold that we had here. I couldn't be in the living room, nor my son, my house, and it was bad. So I skinned the wall. I removed the whole drywall, the insulation, and I added a gutter system that you could see there to remove the rainwater that was coming in out the window. Now, this all happened one evening. My wife and I, we fought Mother Nature. There was a huge hurricane. The storm had come in, and it rained all night. And I have a shop vac, and we emptied, draining the water out because afraid that the water was going to run to the rest of the house. And I emptied a 6-gallon shop vac 23 times. But the look of my wife's face, I mentioned to you guys before, look at my wife's face of desperation. Our son's sleeping. We're going to lose the house. I never forgot it. That evening, we went to bed at 4:30 in the morning. I promised my wife, I'm going to do something about this. I don't know what's going on, but I'm not going to put up with this. And that was the beginning of it. Now, this is the exterior wall of our office, also in PSN. And cracks started forming, which I thought was odd. You could see the actual blocks and step cracks. Step cracks in corners is structural damage. You can see the tie columns are starting to move. So these are all red flags to me. And I began putting pieces together with my background and my knowledge, what's going on. When I started putting the word out, people started sending me their images and their damages. This is a swimming pool that had damage that was suspected that the deck is sinking, which is typical. And it wasn't. In reality, the pool was coming out of the ground. Notice the manhole. They're shifting in elevation. Now, these are all typical signs of a process called liquefaction. But liquefaction can happen here by definition because it's something that happens at a small amount of a very small time, large amount of energy to cause subterranean objects to shift. The ground turns into a liquid state, and there's effects to that. Again, as things evolved, more images, people started sending more information. This is behind Carrabba's. And the culvert that's there, where the canal goes under the road, you can see the culvert is failing. This is right now exists like this. The guardrail is failing. The embankment is failing.
Where's that? Behind your? Behind
This
us?
is behind Carrabba's.
The optimist, yeah. Oh.
When this right here is same as the Bob Graham.
Oh.
Now,
as I'm starting to present information, people start giving me feedback. And this house, I was getting a lot of feedback of tiles popping. This particular house, the gentleman came home from work one evening to find the tiles were loose on his front porch. He looked at the security footage, thinking that were kids vandalizing his house, to find that the tiles popped by themselves mysteriously. When we compare the timestamp, it was a blast, energy wave going through his house. So things started coming to light. Now, that information happened right around the time when the initial blasting advisory board that was created by Marilyn Rano, and I was a member of, it started. When that sunsetted, I created my own group and we investigated and we had scientists and we had engineers and we began studying the effects of this. This is a typical diagram of an energy wave, and it's the components of an energy wave. Now, you'll realize that the direction of travel, the purple arrow, is what the state law is based on solely. All the other properties of an energy wave is ignored. It was discovered that there were 4 types of energy wave being produced by a single blast. That's the payload, and it's designed to break the rock, which is what they're trying to do. Now, what does it mean to us? This is a typical home in Miami Lakes. The vertical lines represent a typical property lines. The heavy dashed line with the arrow is what the state law governs over. And the energy wave is the sine curve that you're seeing, and its payload, the different energy types that we just saw. That's what's affecting our properties. Now, we may be hit from below, we may be hit from above, or we may be skipped altogether. This is why some houses are more affected than others. This is the reason. Now, again, further with the investigations, I was contacted with an engineer, a forensic engineer out of the Philippines, who was studying Surfside. And I began to collaborate with him regarding what we're dealing with. And I sent him actual recorded energy, and he put it on his laboratory equipment called the shake table. And this is what our properties are experiencing. You can see the shaking, that is an actual energy wave and equivalent to what we have.
That's pretty cool.
Yep.
So the effects of that energy wave on a reinforced structure, a masonry structure, this is it. The hot spots show where the weak parts are and where the stresses are. And this is a computer model of that energy wave going through a reinforced masonry structure. And you can see how the windows of the openings torsion, which explains why we have cracks, diagonal cracks on only one corner of an opening, whether it be a door or a window. You can see the ceiling is flexing in the middle. This is the pressure that's happening on the trusses, and why our ceilings are cracking. This explains it. So again, this is a house with showing that response to the structural damage of seismic energy, step crack, and a crack at the connection of the slab to the wall, which is called a hinge connection. That point is that the wall is actually flexing, and the flexure point is the connection. So as we're doing all this, what does it mean to us? What we're left is with the legalities of what we're dealing with. We have the science, we have the evidence, we have the proof. What we have to deal with is the legalities. The county has regulations in place, but those regulations of the county are superseded by the state regulations. And that's what we're fighting. So what we're here today with the assistance of the public, so what we're seeking is to find support and to continue to make these changes, because the laws as they stand are unconstitutional, and we need to fight that. Thank you.
Perfect. It's great.
How's that?
So the state law
Huh?
supersedes the county regulation of what.
And the county regulations, so you know, the state law is 0.5 ppb, peak particle velocity, which is speed. County is 0.75.
Just less.
It's higher.
Hi, oh, the county.
0.75 is higher than 0.5.
Oh, so the state laws, and they're surpassing that every time.
Well, no, they don't pass, they don't even get to 0.5. Rarely, they have passed it, but rarely.
And even that.
I just sent the agenda we have. I tried to apologize.
Bless you. this board, this department, is the goal really to get them to change the law? Or is our goal to figure out ways to get compensation?
Right, the compensation, we cannot be involved in that. Period.
So,
So,
Yeah.
and we need to be very cautious in what we advise and recommend. Because it will only get us into trouble. That's what people want, is a magic wand wave, so they can all get paid. Not even close can we do that. However, there is a law, the existing law is unconstitutional. So I think, and it's been a recommendation of this committee to the council, we need to address that. That's a different story. If we remove the unconstitutionality of the law, now we're fair game. Yeah, everybody's a fair game, because right now it's unconstitutional because the minors are protected. That's not how this works. You know, we all have car insurance because things can happen. And that's because that's the Constitution. I can't run into you and you can't run into me. And if something happens, we have insurance to cover us. They could do as they please and they could do as they please. That's unconstitutional.
for relief, we have those two bills. That, we've been mentioning on the Senate and the,
Yeah, I read.
and the House of Representatives, so that's what we're supporting, actually, the council already supported on Tuesday. For Visa's bill. The HR bill was passed with a resolution passed by the town council on Tuesday, supporting that bill. So, that's very good, I know as a town manager went up there and the mayor went up there. I'm sure that they mentioned that. So. The only thing is now, which I always see is the Senate bill. Which I think it's a concern for me. Because you need both.
And as a
You need a
recommendation,
companion, any companion bill.
as the best possible solution that could come out of this, what would that be?
The best possible solution is to restore the constitutionality of our rights. They've been stripped. If we can restore our rights, then you can do as you please. If you as a homeowner want to sue the minors, go ahead. You want to sue whomever, you have the right to do so. You better defend yourself. You got to be able to prove yourself. You got to make your case. But right now, you don't have that opportunity. So that's like the big ticket.
Do I remove? Okay, sure. Or you want another one?
No.
That was quick and simple too. That's perfect.
Perfect.
Trying to keep it.
Yeah,
Concise.
people attention span.
And
goes
people's
like-
attention span, and we have too many people, even more.
Yeah, and what I wanted to do is do the lead-in of why we're doing this workshop. That was the ultimate intent, but how we got here.
Perfect.
We have the proof, we have the evidence, we have the science behind us. Now we need to get the legislation done properly. So that's, the rest of the workshop.
Okay, so we talked about the program,
To Francesca.
quick
Do
overview.
you have anything, do you have any presentations from your side that you wanted to present or you
Well,
thought would be interesting to present? or-
I don't because I wanted to put together the accumulation of all.
Okay,
So I looked through the program. If the only people who are gonna display things on the screen are me and Miguel, then if you could just send me that you have open on your computer, and then I can put it all together.
The presentation he does,
Mhm.
I'll share with all of you. Well, hold on, let me
The,
grab it, let me
There's more
download
slides
it.
and I gotta delete them, so.
Do you wanna send it to me then? So I
Yeah, I'll
can-
send it to
Okay. So when I have it, I'll send it with all, tell them.
Okay, so then for Monday, I'll prepare, call it an updated version that has everything in one. I asked, Steven to see if he was gonna add anything to
I
it.
asked Stephen too, I just asked him again.
Okay, so, depending on what happens with that on Monday, I'll have a draft for everyone to see. And, if you don't mind, I don't have Brian's contact info,
Okay,
if you can ask him the same. Is this the final that the town is gonna use to put together for the,
Yes.
can you just add one thing, the QR code that we use for this?
Yeah,
So
we
the
talked about the
program.
QR code in the back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
last.
okay.
We need, Fabricio is gonna be in Tallahassee.
Oh.
He's not gonna be here. I think we need somebody to explain, and I had requested from him, explain yourself, I had sent him this program even, but I haven't heard back from him on that. But I think somebody should be presenting what his side of things. Somebody proper on that.
You mean his bill, like the
Yeah.
update on
Right.
his stuff? Okay,
And
I
Avila the same. I mean, Avila I don't have contact with. I don't know if somebody does,
The recorder's office.
because it'd be interesting his stance on things.
Well, Fabricio, noted on his, bill very clearly, that it's a 3 mile. That is a 3 mile, so that really doesn't help Miami Lakes that much. And,
it's not-
Avila has a, preempt,
Yeah, that's,
so.
the preempt is what I'm curious to
Me
have
too.
an explanation. The 3 mile, understand that that's a boundary, so where since Miami Lakes itself is further than that, you won't feel it at all.
I understand that, but I'm Miami Lakes, we're Miami Lakes
I'm Miami
residents,
Lakes, and
so.
I have my tallies lifted in the living room and it's lifted and underneath my bed.
It's not that the tile is lifted, my thing is, we are Miami Lakes and, you know, it's our tax dollars and we would like relief. That's just my personal
But you're
opinion.
talking about two different things. Though.
On his
The
bill.
limitation on what Fabrizio is doing is a distance from the mine.
Mhm.
It cannot exceed that distance. So if you guys are exceeding that distance, your location. So theoretically, you would not be, if this was approved, you would not feel anything then.
Does that distance, the 3 mile? Cause I know we're 6.5 mile. Does that distance cover, that new development? All the way, the last development done in this town,
Satori,
Satori. Does the 3 mile reach Satori? Okay,
I don't think so. I think it's right at the boundary. I think.
okay. I'm just curious. Cause that was the last, program, that was the last construction we really did.
But the
Here.
new one, I don't know what the distance of the new development that's going up now,
Well, that's
which is north of Satori.
not up yet, so.
On 87th towards the
Yes, on
Miami
the
Gardens.
corner.
Is
Yeah.
that gonna be houses or business? Houses?
Any more,
Yeah, I have my questions on the bills.
any more additions, deletions, and before I call the motion to adjourn?
Yes, I need one clarification from you guys.
Yes, ma'am.
We said that based on the spending for the materials, you guys were gonna determine if we were gonna do the live interaction for the meeting, for the workshop. So to remind you guys, if it's just public comments for that portion and we're not gonna reopen it again, we're gonna stick to public comments.
Yes.
And yes, we can do it at the end of the meeting, that doesn't matter, just let me know. The point is that it would just be that one specific
Slot.
time. If that's the case, and there's no additional cost, because that's something I can handle. I can just open it and close it, and that's it.
Yeah.
If your intention is
Yeah.
to accommodate different elected officials at different times, to accommodate to their schedule, then we do need to have IT, right? Because then it's a lot of more maneuvering. We need IT on site, and it is going to cost you guys.
I
So
concur
let me
with
know.
Steve to just leave it
Yeah.
public comments. I think
Yeah.
Rudy
The,
concurs, just leave it public.
Right
comments.
now, there hasn't been any appetite or any need that I'm aware of, that I've heard of, that any elected official needs that.
Correct.
So it's not needed.
Just making sure.
So before, now that you got your question, I call the motion to close at 3.33.
Is there anything else?
I'm sorry.
Anything
I
else?
needed, I can email you just, I need some more flyers to give out, cause I have.
Yeah,
some
if you
people.
give me a couple minutes, I can go up and bring them now.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I went to the civic, PSN meeting that Francisco told me to
Oh,
do.
yes.
And I was able to take flyers. This is the most people I've ever seen at that meeting. It was over 80 people there.
Wow.
I got to speak with Pam and everybody there, and I got to present what we were doing on the 27th, and a lot of people. in that
They sent the
meeting
email out.
Are gonna show up, yeah. Well, I was able to talk to a lot of them, and I've been going around the last few, like, 5 days,
Right.
talking to everybody, knocking on doors and giving it to them, so we should have a really good turnout.
Yeah, they sent the email out on that, and I had texted them as with the board. I couldn't make it, that meeting, but yeah, it was the Miami Gardens expansion, so
Yeah.
it's really
Oh, yeah.
enticing everybody.
Well, they're talking about the whole shopping center with Tony's Pizza is that they're trying to do
Right.
the condominium.
And they sold the building behind the town center
Where the
as well.
cigar store is, the L-shaped one,
Yeah,
behind the, where behind the shopping center.
behind the shop.
Yeah. I'm good.
Thank you. Can I call the motion to adjourn?
Sure.
3:34.
Well, is there anything else?
Is there a second?
Yeah. Is there anything else for?
Is there anything else?
You have
Wait, Ali? Is there anything else?
Yeah.
No, that's fine.
You're good?
You good, Maggie?
I'm good. Yeah.
Francesca?
Thank
Yeah.
you. I can send this now to.
Motion.